what's the style?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful week through the Enchanted Spreads. The Enchanted Spreads are meant to hit in on the harsher points in life through fairy tales and folklore, but through all of it, it gives us guidance. Now, these are some of the grim tales, so they are a little bit more the graphic and harsher versions of the stories, but if you pay attention, there is a lesson in all of them. The first story we have tonight is The Goose Girl. Now, the Goose Girl is all about identity theft. Okay. Now, this is a story about a princess whose mother was a little bit older and she wanted her daughter to go off and get married. So she put 3 drops of her blood into a white handkerchief and hands it to her daughter and gives her a magical horse who has the ability to speak and also a servant to go with her. Now, it's a long voyage to get to the kingdom that the princess is supposed to get to. And along the way, of course, she tires and needs a drink of water. Now, on her way, she asked her servant, could she please scoop up the water in this golden chalice that her mother had given her? The servant looked at her in disgust and said, I'm not doing anything for you. Get it yourself. The princess was shocked because she had never been treated this way by anyone. Her life had always been very privileged. So this is very new to her. But because her life was very privileged, she had also no idea how to be harsh or how to even discipline the servant for not listening. So in fact, she actually was more scared of the servant than anything. So the princess scooped down and scooped up her water and the handkerchief with the 3 drops of blood from her mother began to speak, and they said, this is not right what this girl is doing. If only your mother knew, she would be so upset. And the princess was shocked that the blood spoke. But of course, this is a magical story. So the blood had magic, it had power, it had the healing energy of her mother, it had the power of her mother, as well as the golden chalice. So the princess gets back on the horse and they continue on their voyage. They get again to another stream, and the princess then again asks the servant, could you please fill up my cup and give me water so that I can drink? And the servant again looked at her in disgust and said, absolutely not. You can go down and you can pour your own water. Again, the princess was very saddened and also scared because now the servant had become almost more intimidating in her speech and very aggressive. But the princess went down and she scooped some water. And again, the blood spoke. And it said, if only your mother had known what this girl does. Oh, how she would be punished. You do not deserve this. Well, this startled the princess and it really scared her. And she dropped the chalice and she dropped the handkerchief and they both flew away. Now, the servant, now knowing that the girl had none of the protective powers of her mother with her anymore, she now told the princess that I will now be the princess. I'm going to marry the prince, and you will become my servant, and you will say nothing, because if you do, I will have your head. Well, again, the princess no longer had the protection energy of her mother, and she was terrified. She had never been through any kind of obstacles like this in her life. So she went ahead, she exchanged the clothes, and the servant pretended to be the princess and went ahead and married the prince. The prince, of course, had no idea because in those times they had no pictures. All he knew was that she was dressed in the garments and she had the jewels, so this had to be the princess. Now, the horse, Falada, in the story, who carried the princess throughout the whole story, also had magical powers and could speak, and said that he was going to reveal everything the servant had done. So the servant went and chopped off the horse's head and put it outside on a stout for the girl to see. And she said, this is your reminder of what will happen to you if you speak about anything that's happened. Oh, the princess was very sad and she was heartbroken. But she continued on and she tended to the goose because that was her job at the palace. But the king saw her and he felt a weird energy about the whole thing. And he took pity on the girl and he asked the princess, who was now, of course, the servant, to have dinner with him. And he said, "Tell me what is going on." And she said, "I can't because she will have my head." The king said to her, "Worry not, because this is an iron room and no one can hear anything outside of these walls." So she poured her story out to him, and the king believed her because there was honesty and truth behind her words. So the king then went and exposed the fake princess, who was really the servant, and he said to her, "What would you do if someone took your identity and chopped off your horse's head?" And explained all of the scenario to her. And she said to him, "I would have her dragged into the streets and I would have a mockery made of her." So the king did just that. He had the servant princess dragged through the streets and showed the true identity of the princess who had turned into the servant. And all her riches were restored to her name. And the horse, though he passed away, was still a very guiding spirit throughout for her. Now, this story tells of someone who tries to steal the identity of another. When this card comes, it may be indicating to you that someone may be trying to take what is yours. Someone may be trying to slander something that may be very important to you, that someone has given to you, a gift that was bestowed to you. But worry not, because people will see that person's true identity for who they are and what it is. The situation here will be exposed because there are allies on your side who do see the pureness and the truth beyond the matters. Someone may have stolen something from you, but worry not, they will not have it for too much longer. What I would say here is understand that spirit is on your side. So though it may seem hopeless, the case, the cause, or whatever may be happening, understand that this too shall pass, because spirit is aligned to help you with your purpose. Remember, no one can take what is already bestowed to you, meaning your blessings are your blessings alone, and no one can take those from you. I hope you found value in this story, and I hope you guys enjoy more of the Enchanted spreads. Make sure you guys stay tuned every week. Make sure you guys also like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube content. We'll see you next time.
Now what's the style?